Saturday. Christmas comes early.
Unbelievable! Welcome to this incredible scene.
Bills.
To the end zone!
Chargers.
It's a touchdown!
An exclusive NFL game.
That's fantastic!
Live in primetime.
Wow!
Only on Peacock.
With a Christmas gift to their fans.
They're having some fun now.
Bills versus Chargers. Saturday, 7:30 Eastern. Exclusively on Peacock.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Welcome to the Morgan Man Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Cole Morgan. Here on the Morgan Man Sports Podcast, we talk Atlanta Falcons news, pre-game predictions, and all other news surrounding the Atlanta Falcons.
Touchdown, Atlanta!
Also on the podcast, we talk Call of Duty League, esports, covering Roster Mania, major predictions, COD champs, player trades, and much more to get you ready for every single CDL weekend.
Stuff goes through, and Stuff snaps, wins the one-on-one, and Optic with the reverse sweep.
If that sounds good with you, put on your Falcons jersey, grab your gaming headset, and let's get this show started. What is going on, you guys? I'm your host, Stacy Cole Morgan, and you are listening to the Morgan Man Sports Podcast here on Spotify, Google Podcasts, GoodPod HQ, or wherever you find your preferred podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking a little bit about the Call of Duty League. Not too much, since they are now on the Christmas and New Year's break right here, but we will still go over the rankings right now, where the CDL points stand for just 2 weeks of action with the qualifiers for the Major 1 in Boston. Then we will switch gears over to the Atlanta Falcons with all the news surrounding Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, and Arthur Smith, and also previewing this weekend's game against the Indianapolis Colts. So without any further delay, let's go get straight into today's action. Alright guys, before we get into that right here, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button on YouTube. Hit the download and follow button on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your preferred podcast. It does help out right here. It has helped out so much, guys, that we are getting a brand new microphone after this podcast right here for Christmas. I'm upgrading to the premium Blue Yeti microphone with the more features and details on it. And it's going to sound a hell of a lot better right here, guys, for the podcast. And guys, I'm excited for it, for the future of this podcast. Hopefully with more now video podcast for the YouTube version, to get rid of the RSS feed through the YouTube and start uploading the video version of this podcast live for you guys. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully just create more and better content for you guys this year, because this podcasting does mean a lot to me, guys, and you guys are definitely very helpful and beneficial to my success, and I cannot thank you guys enough. But the new microphone is definitely a step in the right direction, I should say. So now, since we got that out of the way, let's talk about the Call of Duty League. So we just finished up really now, 2 weeks of Call of Duty action for the Major 1 qualifiers. And this is your CDL point standings right here. So the Miami Heretics has moved up 3 spots to the first place spot, sitting at 30 CDL points, 3-0 in the series win-loss, and 9-2 in map win-loss ratio. So you're sitting here thinking, damn, the Miami Heretics are really good, but they've only lost 1 less game than the second place team, which is Atlanta FaZe. Atlanta FaZe is sitting at 3-0 in the series, but only with 9-3 in the map loss. And that's just because it comes down to that Boston series, and that's pretty much it, really. And then, of course, losing that one, I believe it was S&D against Seattle Surge. That kind of screwed us up right here, but hey, we're still undefeated right now. We could definitely change that, which is actually in 4 weeks for Call of Duty, I should say. You know, they're going on that Christmas and New Year's break right there. It won't be back until January 12th, which is insane. on me, honestly, I would have just waited till the new year, honestly, to start the brand new season. But hey, we were desperate for some Call of Duty League action after 6 months, and now we finally got it, so we can at least take a little bit of a break, and hopefully the league can adjust some things during this time off as well. So back to the CDL point standings right here. New York Subliners is 3-0 as well, but with a 9-4 map loss ratio. Optic Texas sitting at number 4 with 30 CDL points. 3-1 in the series win-loss and 11-5 in map loss ratio. Toronto Ultra is honestly not looking as good as I thought they were. I mean, they're still a top-tier team, don't get me wrong. They're in the top 5. But they're sitting at 20 CDL points with 2-1 series and 6-4 in the map loss ratio. Seattle Surge, 2-2. They're actually tied 8-8 with the map loss ratio. LAG is surprisingly doing well right now. 10 CDL points, 1-2 in the series win-loss, and it would be 6-6 with the map win-loss ratio. Boston is number 8. Vegas Legion is number 9. Number 10 is the Los Angeles Thieves. Definitely a big dip with Cammy on that team, so it's disappointing. The Carolina Royal Ravens, a team that I was highly just anticipating to be a very great team, is at number 11 right now with only 10 CDL points, 1-3 in the series win-loss ratio, and 3-11 in the map win-loss category. Then finally, the Minnesota Rocker, 0 CDL points, 0-3 in the series win-loss ratio, and 4-9 in the map win-loss ratio category. So those are your CDL point standings right now. Face looks unstoppable. Hertix looks unstoppable. New York Subliners still in championship form despite, being without Priesta. Guys, this is going to be an amazing season. And referencing what I meant earlier with the CDL can hopefully fix a few little things during this break right here. And that is the reason why the broadcast has just been so terrible here lately. The match recaps, everything like that on YouTube, they're putting in the wrong thumbnails. They're putting in the wrong titles, descriptions, tags, everything. They're just going off the success of their current already there subscribers. And that's it. They're not gaining much more potential with the right tags, the titles, thumbnails, etc. So definitely they need to fix that right there. Make it a little bit more, professional, because we are not when I say we, I meant the Call of Duty League is a little bit more professional than that, I would imagine. So hopefully they could fix all that come January 12th when we get back into the Major 1 qualifiers, week 3. That will be honestly a banger right there. Don't know the matches right off the top of my head, but honestly it's going to be a good one since we've had a 4-week break. So now moving on over ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the Atlanta Falcons and the Indianapolis Colts. So we're going to do that first before we get into the news. Well, I kind of do have to break the news just a little bit right here, but Taylor Heinicke is the starting quarterback for the remainder of the season, or at least for this Colts game. So the Indianapolis Colts are coming in 8-6 to the Bens, while the Falcons are looking to improve to 7-8 to get just right up under that 500 mark. Still keep our chances at the playoffs alive. But guys, honestly, I feel like this Sunday, if the Falcons lose, let's just say if, that's it. Our playoff hopes are done. And that would be thanks to the Indianapolis Colts. So the Atlanta Falcons are a favorite to win at home right now, only at a -1. The game odds did open up with a spread of a -2 for Indy, but then quickly switched to a -1 for Atlanta, and the public bet is sitting at 66% in favor of Atlanta. Your money line is a -105 for Indy and a -115 for Atlanta at a 54% public bet. The over and under is sitting at a 44, and people are taking the over 44 at a 6% public bet. Now, as always, I go over total team stats, not individual. So for this matchup, the Colts offense versus the Falcons defense. This honestly could be a great one right here, where the Falcons defense is 7th against the pass, while the Colts are 18th while passing the ball. And while running the ball for the Colts offense, they're sitting at 13th, and the Falcons defense is sitting at 15th. So that's definitely an evened out matchup right there, but we can definitely take advantage of that passing game. Hopefully get some interceptions, pass deflects, whatever it is, and get to the quarterback, which I believe it should be Gardner Minshew right now. If I'm not mistaken, I haven't been keeping up with much of the Colts news heading into the Atlanta Falcons matchup this Sunday. So now the Colts defense versus the Falcons offense. Guys, I'm surprised we're still in the teens of total offense. We're sitting at 19th overall for the Falcons total offense, while the Colts defense is sitting 21st overall. So again, just like with us, the Colts can take advantage of that air game with Taylor Heineke, get some interceptions, deflected balls, whatever it is, and get to Taylor Heineke by that elite pass rush. Passing, we're 23rd in the National Football League, while the Colts defense against the pass is 16th. And this is where Bijan Robinson, Cordell Patterson, and Tyler Algier really needs to have a field day right here, because the Falcons are 9th while running the ball, and the Colts defense is 26th in the National Football League against the run. So definitely, you got to take advantage of that. Establish that run game, and then when you start passing the ball, those lanes do open up in that passing attack for Taylor Heineke to get some completed passes, some deep balls, and potentially a touchdown to really up the ante of this game. So that's the game right there. That's the preview. Again, Atlanta is favorite at a -1, and being optimistic here, I am going to take the Atlanta Falcons. I really am. And it's going to come down to a Younghoe Koo field goal, or if we're lucky, it's going to be a Taylor Heineke touchdown pass with like 5 seconds left. That's where I believe we're going to win this matchup, I do believe. And the Atlanta Falcons will improve to 7-8, while the Colts fall to 8-7. And then after that, we hopefully start turning our season around, which, I mean, being 3 games left, we definitely need to turn around in order to secure a playoff spot. And that would potentially have to be winning the division. Because if you're going into the scenario thinking that we could be in the wild card spot without winning our division, that's absolutely absurd, because the Saints are not going to lose to the Rams. And the Buccaneers, I don't even know the remainder of their schedule. Let's look it up while we're recording right now. So they got the Jags. So that's definitely a game that the Jags could win, and we would hope that they would. So Jaguars this Sunday against the Buccaneers, and it will look like it actually will be in Tampa Bay. So the Buccaneers do have that home field advantage. The Saints, again, they got the Rams in LA for Thursday night football, which was yesterday. Yesterday, from the time you're hearing this recording. So honestly, I don't know the score of that right now, because I'm recording the day before the LA Rams and Saints game at 6:14 p.m. December 20th. So again, it's you hope they lose. You hope all these teams lose, go to 7-8, and the Falcons have to win in order to secure that first place spot. And then after that, you got the Bears after those Colts game, and then you got the Saints. That's where it's going to be at to win this division. You got to win out pretty much the rest of this season. And then also what hurts us as well is that the Buccaneers and Saints face off against each other December 31st. So that really hurts us right there, because one of those teams has got to win that game. You honestly hope it is the Saints. to where then the Falcons could come in and beat the Saints in the Superdome, and then we win the division. Like, that's where our playoff hopes and dreams will come alive or die right then and there. But we'll take it one game at a time, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, we will find out this Sunday. But I'm taking it as a Younghoe Koo field goal or a Tyler Heinicke last-minute touchdown effort with 5 seconds left. That's where I believe the Falcons will win this Sunday. So now, a lot of news has been happening here lately with the Atlanta Falcons as well. So, obviously, everybody knows that Taylor Heinicke is now the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons for the remainder of the season. I feel like that is a great decision. You know, Desmond Ridder has been proven not to be the guy. But again, he's under a system where it's questionable. If he was in like a Doug Peterson system or Sean McVay type West Coast offense, along with Kyle Shanahan, maybe Desmond Ridder would shine. But for Arthur Smith's system, he's just a bust for the Atlanta Falcons. And, you know, I really hate to say that because I really like the guy. I root for every Falcons quarterback to do well. And head coach as well. I root for anybody that wears the Atlanta Falcons gear because they are representing the team that I love, that I cry for, get happy for, whatever. So I root for them. And I don't want to see them lose their jobs because that's a job loss right there. You know, it could happen to anybody, but the National Football League is different. They are relentless. And that is apparently what will happen this offseason if the Atlanta Falcons miss the playoffs or don't even look very competitive. And the playoffs wasn't even part of the plan for Arthur Smith, according to CEO and owner, Mr. Arthur Blank. So I got this quote right here. Hashtag Falcons owner Arthur Blank to @Jeff Holgener, if I'm pronouncing that right, on head coach Arthur Smith's future. And I quote, "We're going to play these last 3 games. We play them to win them. And we'll let the season play out and go from there. Obviously, this has not been the kind of the year we expected." Blank said it was never a requirement for Smith to make the playoffs to keep his job. The requirement was to see a more competitive team in Blank's eyes. It's been mixed. So there's a lot to unpack right there. Number one, why, as an owner, do you not make it a requirement to make the playoffs? I would never in a million years see Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, say to Dak Prescott or, you know, whoever, and say, all right, guys, you know, it's not a requirement if y'all make the playoffs. I just want to see if you can actually damn win a season. I don't see him saying that. I mean, yeah, I do see him saying, you know, y'all got to win the season. But I see him saying, and I'm going to cuss right here, you son of bitches are going to make the damn fucking playoffs if it's the last damn thing I have to say. And, you know, I can see him saying that. I really can. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers owners now, I don't get too much into the owners of the National Football League teams here, but, you know, Jerry Jones obviously being notorious of being a multi-millionaire for the Dallas Cowboys and being the owner. And, of course, Arthur Blank, because, you know, why wouldn't you know your own team's owner like that? So, again, you're the owner of the Atlanta Falcons. You ain't made the playoffs since 2017, and here we are in 2024 fixing to be. That's what? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, almost 7 seasons, or 7 years, you should say, of not making the playoffs. That's a long time for an NFL team to be out of the playoffs, especially with this much talent. And it's just crazy. It really is. So you got to look at it like this. If Arthur Smith is the right guy for this job, he wins out these next 3 games, he makes the playoffs, shows improvement right there, possibly even winning a wild card game. Then we go to, I don't know, Detroit, San Francisco, Philadelphia, somewhere in there. And then, of course, we might lose that game as well, especially if it's 49ers or Philly. I say that's the improvement that we're looking for. Arthur Blank will then obviously say, all right, you made the playoffs, you showed commitment, you showed strength, a competitive team in my eyes. I'll give you one more season. If you're Arthur Smith, you take full advantage of that. If you are the guy and you do everything possible this year to get the best quarterback there is in this year's NFL draft, and that is Jayden Daniels. You get Jayden Daniels in that Atlanta Falcons uniform. Rookie quarterback. You let him play the preseason. You put him out there because that's where you're going to know if he's really that top tier quarterback. And I think he is. I really think he is. I've seen his tape. I've seen everything on Jayden Daniels that I need to see if we are going to pick him in this year's NFL draft. And it is projected from a lot of multiple sources, actually, that the Atlanta Falcons will pick a quarterback, and it would be Jayden Daniels. But now you got to look at this, the other scenario. The Bears, I believe they hold the number one spot thanks to Carolina trading that pick. They could possibly go after Jayden Daniels and get rid of Justin Fields. Then you're left with the situation, okay, well, Jayden Daniels is gone. Do we go after Justin Fields? We trade, let's just say, 3 of our late round picks for Justin Fields. That would be an option on the table, because Justin Fields definitely does make those great throws. He definitely does make those great runs that you would see in a Lamar Jackson. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I wouldn't, and I'm just assured that the rest of the Atlanta Falcons fan base would be okay, if not happy, to see Justin Fields in Atlanta Falcons uniform. So again, referencing back, is either Jayden Daniels or Justin Fields. You're taking a semi-veteran quarterback in Justin Fields, or are you taking the highly talented Jayden Daniels out of LSU to come to Atlanta? So Arthur Smith's job is on the line right now, guys, and Arthur Blank is evaluating everything with these last 3 games, potentially 4 if we make it to the wild card matchup, which we would potentially get the host in Atlanta if we do win our division. So if you're Arthur Smith, again, if you think you are the man for the job, you tighten up, you win these 3 games, host a playoff game, or if not, you have to go to possibly like Detroit, Philly, or Dallas, whatever the case is, and you try to win that game right there, show some competitiveness, and then turn this offseason into one of the more better off seasons than what you had this previous year. So we will see come this off season if Arthur Smith is going to be in Atlanta or out of Atlanta. So guys, I know this was a very lengthy podcast right here, but trying to make the best of what I can do with all the Atlanta Falcons talk right here. I know it's going to be quite a while before we do talk Call of Duty League again, until at least January 12th, so that's in like 3 more weeks right here. So it's going to be a while, and we're still just covering all the Atlanta Falcons news that is promised here in the intro to keep you guys informed, get you guys ready for your parlays, your money line, your spread, whatever the case may be for the Atlanta Falcons games if you are betting on the Atlanta Falcons. But guys, I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like button wherever you are listening from. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, GoodPod HQ. Again, hit that download button, hit the like button on YouTube. Tremendously does help me out in my podcast journey to growth of being the best Atlanta Falcons and esports podcast out there in the world. But until then, guys, I'm Cole Morgan. We'll catch you all later. Peace.